Hello everyone. I'm a little bit sick, but I really want to get this video out so that you guys can start to get an idea of how these new DaYan cubes are going to be. Alright, so this is the DaYan Lingyun, or the DaYan 3, and this is the prototype model, but from what I understand there aren't many changes that are going to be in the final model. This is pretty much finalized. It's not one of the earlier prototypes. Once, like I covered in my unboxing video, if you haven't seen that, it's a little bit smaller than the DaYan GuHong. I mean, this size comparison is literally nothing, but it does, you do feel it in your hand, because it's, like, the corners are a little bit more rounded than they are on the GuHong. So when you're holding the GuHong, you feel like you're actually holding like a cube, when this cube is going back to more of a bubbly F2 feel. Another thing to notice is that these corners are very rounded on the internals, so the hole is much bigger. The GuHong has the same feature, but you could see that the hole is still big, but the corner is a little bit more rounded, and it seems like it has a little bit more cut in the Lingyun. So we'll be comparing pieces side by side. So the GuHong was lubricated with Lubix, and the Lingyun was lubricated with something that just came with it, so I didn't want to try to mess with lubricants until I have a brand new one that's like fresh. So we'll be comparing the edges first, and one thing I noticed is that on the Lingyun, that opening on the edge is much longer than it is on the GuHong. On the GuHong, it's a little shorter. Moving over to the edges, the GuHong edge has very, very small surface, very smooth, I meant. So you can see right there at the light, there's like really nothing, like no tracks or anything. But with the DaYan Lingyun, I don't want to say it's a track, but you can see right there, it's like a mold on the piece that I think it's like meant to give the cube more of a like a better rotation. So that's pretty much all the edges. Move on to corners next. On the Lingyun, you could see that the end of the stalk, it isn't as triangular at all, but as the GuHong is, it's actually like cut off at the tips. But when we look at a GuHong corner, you can see how triangular that is. Differences with the corners. One difference I noticed is that right here on the GuHong, where the light is shining, like where the sparkle is, kind of hard for you guys to see. It's like a little like dip that is meant to make the corner more rounded. So it's not just like a straight line, it's like kind of like a little arc or like a banana shape, so that it goes more in, as you could see right there. So it's not like a total square. The Lingyun, it's the same idea, but it's been really modified into a way deeper, I'm trying to think of the right word, like a deeper concave, so that gives more of a bubbly feeling, I'm assuming. For internal, this is the core that comes stock with the Lingyun. It's just like white, and you can see the center pieces are a different shape than they are on the GuHong. The GuHong has more of a square shape, while this one has like more curves in it. I haven't adjusted these tensions at all, and the center caps are pretty much the same thing. We're not really seeing anything different there. But what's also interesting is the inside of the centerpiece. The part where the screw goes into goes very deep into the centerpiece, which just adds for a lighter weight, I'm assuming. So we'll go ahead and reassemble these. just to make sure you guys know, the Lingyun's the pink one, GuHong is the black one. These are the stock stickers that come with the Lingyun. They're actually pretty nice because it's not a dark cube like black. It's like the yellow. The black plastic doesn't really show through. It actually creates nice colors. So these colors are actually speed solvable. I mean, in the sense that they're not too dark, they're not too light. They're pretty much right in the middle. The GuHong, I have custom stickers by CubeSmith on there to make for brighter, because the GuHong stickers were just too dark because the cube was black. But pretty much any sticker will look nice on a lighter colored cube, especially white, because the plastic won't show through. So you'll probably be fine on stickers if you don't purchase a black cube, so you won't need to be worried about stickers. The turning of this cube is not nearly how I expected it. I mean, this cube was described to me as a smaller GuHong, which it definitely is. It is, but it isn't. It's more of a step back from the GuHong in the sense that we're totally leaving the feel of the GuHong and going into a different feel. Like we're going back into more of an A5 kind of feel. So, the GuHong was said to be like an F2 and an Alpha 5, child of the Alpha 5 and F2, in the sense that it had the best of both. It didn't have the bubbly feeling of the F2, but it had its speed and corner cutting of the F2, but also had the stability and just like square shape of the Alpha. So the GuHong was really a good choice for a speed cube because of that. Those are like the two best cubes in the market, and they still are ranked really high up there. But I mean, you pretty much got everything with the GuHong, so it was like an all-in-one package. As I just mentioned with the Lingyun, we are resorting back into an alpha feel, in the sense that it's smooth, very fast, but those little track type things on the edges make it to where it has a more defined feel, which adds to a sort of clickiness. It's not really clicky, it's really hard for me to describe. It's like you can feel the edges traveling on top of each other, in the sense that you could feel each piece hitting over that that little surface on the edge. Some people will like this feel, I have no doubt, but I'm personally not a fan of it. I've been really liking the GuHong because it's just like no resistance at all in turning it. It's just insanely fast and smooth. If you are like a huge fan of alpha, this cube will probably be really good for you, but like the GuHong, it was the best choice for me because I really like the feel of the F2, but I just couldn't speed solve with it for whatever reason. I just couldn't get good times with it. So that was just my choice on it. Let me say some bad things about this Lingyun cube, because first thing I want to say is the turning of it. As I just mentioned, with the whole alpha type feel, it just feels weird turning it. Like, it's really good, but I mean, you just like, a DaYan isn't supposed to feel like an alpha. It's supposed to feel like its own cube, and this just feels too much like an alpha cube to me. So that's just kind of weird, but the inner turns have a little bit more resistance than they do on the GuHong, or actually it's about the same. Just a little bit more resistance on the Lingyun. For reverse corner cuts, which a lot of you are interested in, I've tested, and it's the tensions I haven't messed with, so it's pretty much just like, not luck of the draw, but it varies. So it's usually around here. That's usually like its stopping point, like it is on the GuHong, about a piece. So we'll go a little bit less, about this much, no problem. On the GuHong, mine is managing to cut about a piece. So there is more resistance with the GuHong on that length. So let me go to about where we are with the Lingyun. Still a little bit more resistance, but it will cut it. The Lingyun just seems to do this job easier and with less resistance. Like, I can probably do it one-handed. I got it, but barely. Now we'll go for real corner cuts. The 45-degree corner cutting is pretty much everyone's standard now. The GuHong really set that standard in the sense that, like, if most people now are so spoiled with it, like, if they pick up a cube and doesn't cut 45, it's like, oh, I'm not even using this. So the Lingyun, it's at about 45. It cuts with resistance, but it will cut it. As I was finding that happen, I was just about to mention, with popping, the Lingyun, the whole edge design was made to make pretty much a GuHong with less pops. Popping is never really an issue with me in my GuHong, but when I do pop on it, it's when I seem to be speed solving it, and it just, like, starts to bind in the sense that it feels like too much. I'm putting too much energy or exertion into turning this puzzle because I feel really comfortable with it. I'm not worried about pops, so I'm really not afraid to go all out while using it. And occasionally I'll have, like, an edge piece just fall out randomly. I've never had more than one edge fall out on this cube, which is a good thing, and it rarely does happen, but it is something that does happen and that you would take into consideration. With the Lingyun, it doesn't pop much, but like I showed when I was trying to cut like 45, it will do it, but sometimes it just says no, and I don't want to cut that, and it'll just totally spit out like 10 pieces, or not 10, like 7 pieces. So this cube, it really doesn't have any of those issues, just random edges falling out, and it rarely does pop, but when this one does pop, it really pops. Like, pieces just go everywhere. So, that is something that you definitely want to take into consideration. If you're a really precise cuber, this shouldn't be an issue at all with you. But if you do like to put a lot of pressure, like you're always cubing all fast and stuff, and you build a tension inside of the cube, you may have this issue. I'll just finish it off right here. With a little bit over 45, it won't do it. I mean, this one hasn't had any core replacements, any additional lubricating, so I don't know if that will change, but it just will not do it. And the GuHong, it will. It does have an A1 core in it, but it will cut a little bit over 45. And it really doesn't give you any trouble with it. Lots of people say that the 45 corner cutting really doesn't matter because who needs it? I mean, if you're that much of a noob, they say, that's the only reason why you would need it. But it's just like cool or nice to have, I guess. But like, I'm really trying to make this review in depth for you guys so you can really get an idea of what this cube is, because it's really hard to describe. It's just one of those cubes where you need to feel it. I mean, I really like this cube, I do. I'm gonna buy them and sell them because it is a really nice cube, but it isn't exactly how I imagined it, because it was imagined to be like the GuHong killer, I guess, or the huge step up from a GuHong. So I don't know. It's a good cube. Nothing to complain about with it. Is it main speed cube worthy? Yes, it is. But for right now, I'm just going to be staying with my GuHong, just because it's just too trustworthy. But if I do find any other updates with this Lingyun, I'll have it in like its own review, because it's more of a versus video between the GuHong and Lingyun. But anyway, I'm sorry this video is so long, but I hope you guys enjoyed it.